officially too cold to be doing a review, but I couldn't pass up an opportunity to review a 2021 Subaru WRX, which this is going to be a good video if you've seen the review we did on the 2017 STI. So we'll see, is the WRX a better bang for the buck, or is the STI? Hopefully we can figure it out. Hey, come on! We'll drive somewhere else. Yeah, this is like my first time seeing this is the last year of this WRX, and this is my first time ever seeing the engine. And it looks really new. Everything in here looks new. And I love how open it is. Makes it really easy to work on. But yeah, I think this thing only has like 6,000 miles on it, so it's a pretty fresh engine. But yeah, we got a 4-cylinder, 268 horsepower. It is a horizontally opposed 4-cylinder, so the pistons are pushing away from each other, which Subaru's been doing that for a long time. It's a good engine. We'll see how it compares to the 2.5 in the STI. Hopefully it's not too much slower. What are you doing?
In a picture of the pinecone.
Huh. Interesting. You got 2 exhaust tips here. You got 2 exhaust tips there. Now, to the common individual, they'd be like, wow, it's got a quad exhaust. But me, because I'm hella smart, I looked under the car. It's really a single exhaust that splits into 2. And then you got 2 exhaust tips per muffler. You got a little diffuser down here. Got some little shark fin looking things. And then you also have your rain light. Does that even turn on? I don't even think that turns on. Look it, it's just plastic. Wow. So they have a fake rain light. Come on, Subaru, you can do better than that. Headphone users, beware. Yeah. Nice. See, if it was my car, it'd be a lot louder. But that's just because I'm an asshole. It actually sounds good stock, and you guys will hear it later on, but you can actually hear the turbo stock. See, that's what you want to hear. Which, that's cool from inside. But let's take a look at the interior. I put a piece of gum in my mouth, but I realized that might have not been a good idea since I'm going to be talking a lot. So bear with me. Yeah, it's pretty similar in here to the STI. Nothing crazy. Steering wheel's pretty much the same, except you don't have STI logos. Here you have a WRX logo, and you don't have any of the carbon fiber. The shifting linkage, it's not the same. There's a longer throw. It doesn't quite feel as tight as the STI, which there are a lot of differences, not in the interior, but in the drivetrain specifically between the STI and the WRX. Like the STI has a whole different transmission, and I guess a whole different clutch, and a bunch of other stuff. I don't know everything on it, and I don't want to know everything on it. My question is, how much do they actually feel different at the wheel? I understand the STI has a bunch more different upgraded parts on it from factory, but does it feel different at the wheel? And that's what we're going to cover today. How much does it actually feel different? So if you're looking to buy one, would it be better to buy an STI, or just buy a WRX and upgrade it to be as fast as an STI? It's probably what I would do. But the interior is nice. Steering wheel's nice. Subaru's known for not having the nicest interiors, so there's not a whole lot to point out. But for like a daily driver car, like this is perfect. This is all you need. You have a nice screen, good setup. You have another screen up here. Push button start. Like the key's just in my pocket right now. So, and you got a little boost gauge. It's the same stuff as you got in the, wait, is that a G-force? No. Yeah. Bunch of cool stuff. So, you got a back seat. Yeah, you can sit people back there. That's what it's good for. Yeah, nothing crazy. You got a sunroof. Let's fucking drive this thing. so after the drive, I'd say that it drives pretty much the same as the STI. So that's the end of the review. So the most noticeable thing I can point out already is the steering difference. The STI that we reviewed has a hydraulic steering setup, and this has electric steering. And personally, just with the way that hydraulic steering was set up on the STI, I'm enjoying this a lot more. I did not like the STI steering. It felt like I was fighting it the whole time while I was driving, and this feels much better. Much better. Thought maybe that was a cop, so I slowed down. Cops driving Tundras now, or what? Shifting definitely feels better in the STI. The STI has a better transmission. I think it comes with a short shifter linkage, so that feels better, obviously. This one feels pretty notchy, and so did the STI, but this one seems kind of douchey saying this, but it literally feels cheaper. Like it just doesn't feel as well built as the STI was, which I understand that. As I said before, this had 268 horsepower, and that it is a deficit compared to the STI's 305. It doesn't feel like an STI under acceleration, but it doesn't feel slow. 268 horsepower isn't bad. We've reviewed cars with quite a bit less horsepower, but this still feels very quick. I think what helps is the fact that it feels also so nimble. It gives you a lot of confidence. It feels really good. It makes you just want to throw it into corners. And for the better part of it, it can handle that. It can handle being thrown into corners. It's really easy to cross that line. So just be careful, because understeer is going to be more prone in vehicles like this. The suspension, there's a little bit of body roll, hardly any though. It's a little bit softer than the STI. As far as cornering suspension wise, it feels really good. Almost as good as the STI, not quite, but I'd say for the price difference, it's right up there. Now that we're actually hitting some corners, there's not much to say. Like, it feels good. It feels really good. Steering feels on par. The grip feels on par. The power, the way that the power comes on, feels smoother than the STI. I don't know if it's just because the STI is making more of it, but when the power comes on, it comes on a lot smoother, but it also comes off a lot smoother. When you're somewhat on the throttle on the STI, in the middle of a corner, so you have your steering wheel turned, you're on the throttle. If you were to let off the throttle, your car starts diving in a lot quicker. So obviously you can steer quite a bit of the car with the gas pedal. With this, it doesn't quite feel like that. When I was going through that corner right there, as I was coming out of it, I let off the throttle, and it was smooth when the engine cut out. The fact that it didn't change my line. For people who actually drive, you notice that quite a bit, and that was one of the things I didn't like in the STI, because when I feathered the throttle through a corner, it would constantly change my line. And this, I haven't noticed that yet, which is good. I'm actually liking this more than I thought I would, to be honest. It just feels smoother than the STI. The STI feels a bit more raw. Average 21.9. Yeah, we ain't getting that right now. Sorry, Paige. I like the car more than I thought I would. It's just a good car. It really is. I'd love to own one. I just can't afford it. The big question is, if I had the money to buy an STI, would I buy an STI or would I buy a WRX? Personally, based on what I just drove, I would buy the WRX. If you want low horsepower, then I would definitely buy the WRX before I would buy an STI. If you want high horsepower, buy an STI. Boom. I just solved your problem for you.